27th, 2021. This is Tulio Surgusa broadcasting from Southern California. I'm joined today by Carlos Ponce in Cuernavaca, Mexico. Hi, Carlos. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you, Tulio.
And it's good to have Mariel Navarro back with us. She's from Chihuahua, Mexico. Hi, Mariel. Welcome back.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
Of course, this is why we do this. We do this because we have these amazing guests from awesome companies join us, want to tell us their story. So we have Melissa Ribeiro from Actian. She's the Chief People Officer at Actian. Welcome to the show. I know you're broadcasting from snowy Utah, is it?
No. I'm in Tahoe. And
Tahoe.
Thank you for having me. Yes.
Great. Welcome to the show. So we got an interesting topic for conversation today regarding how important it is for organizations to focus on people. But before we go into the topic, before we introduce the topic, let's get to know you a little bit. If you don't mind, please tell us a little bit about Melissa.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Ribeiro, and I'm the Chief People Officer for Actian. I am originally from Brazil. I was born and raised in a town. My hometown was Londrina in the south of Brazil. And I was very lucky that my parents, loved traveling. And we had the opportunity to, when I was 5 years old, to live in Michigan. My father is a neurologist. My mom owned her company in consulting. And we went to University of Michigan for them to work. That's how I learned English, by the way. And I have two sisters. I live in San Carlos, California. And I am in Tahoe today. We just had a blizzard. So just behind me, you're going to see a lot of white powder. Fantastic. So I grew up in Brazil. And when I was about, after 4 years working for Ingersoll Rand at the time, I was transferred from Brazil to the United States. And my port of entry was Atlanta, Georgia. After that, I had the opportunity to work for amazing companies like IBM, Thomson Reuters, Yahoo, Opera Media Works, Deluxe Entertainment in LA, and currently I am at Actian. I am by education, I started business degree, psychology, human behavior, and I am very, 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 very passionate about people and what it used to be human resources. So that's a little bit about me.
We love it. We also, by the way, hate the term resources, assets, or human capital when it refers to people. So we like that you guys don't use human resources. So tell us a little bit about Actian.
Yes.
What does the company do?
So Actian is a global software company. We play in, we are hybrid. We have data management and also cloud. We have been around for 35 years. We started the company back in the Ingress days, which was the platform at the time. It's still relevant to this day, and we have fantastic clients like Lufthansa, and Lufthansa uses us for all their live data. Let's give an example where, Lufthansa, they have their partner flights. They need to gather the most simple information from, do we have, vegan meals at that particular, flight, to some potential disasters like a hurricane. And, you have a flight that's coming from New York City to Florida, a hurricane is coming, how you're going to reroute that flight and, put it in an airport that has, engineers that are going to be capable to do the mechanics, as well as be safe for the entire population. All that information from the time that the person checks in all the way to when they land, it's collected live and it's passed on through Actian's Actian platform. We analyze, we spit it out, and they have the information for their safety and as well to be a fantastic company that they are. As of lately, because of COVID, a lot of companies are moving their directions from being office-based to remote or a hybrid scenario, and database and are changing with time. And therefore, there's going to be more cloud than anything else. We have a new product called Avalanche that is 100% cloud analytics. And we are, we kicked out the beginning of last year, and it's moving fantastically. We just established a partnership with Google, and we're going live with Google, within 2 months or so.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Oh, one more thing that I wanted to mention about Actian.
Yeah.
We are owned 80% by HCL. It's a $9 billion company out of India in the service industry, as well as private investor Sumero out of the Bay Area.
Well, we know why you have such a focus on people. HCL happens to be a World Blue certified company, just like we are. So we're in good company. So let's get right into the topic today, because I want to dig in and want to learn everything that you guys are doing that makes it so unique and such a fun place to be. Carlos, what's the topic today? What do we answer? I think we have a couple of questions we're answering today.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Tulio, the questions that we're going to be, that Melissa is going to be answering are, why is it essential for organizations to focus on their people? And the second question is, what is the magic to achieve success? So those are the questions. And the topic itself is people leaders, the catalyst to organization success in 2021. So I look forward to the topic. Now, Melissa, first of all, welcome to the show. Tell us, why did you choose this particular topic, and why did you think it was relevant for this day and age?
Yes, of course. I think, well, we all are going through COVID, right? And the disruption was so, great that every company had to just pivot. We went from absolutely, office-centric and some remote, all the way to we are all remote today, and we're going to go hybrid. So a lot of our offices are going to be not going to be existing anymore. In fact, even where I sit today, and the reason why is because not just the COVID itself, but it's how the world is evolving. Before, I used to see a lot of CEOs, just focusing on the fact that they needed to be in that little pedestal, be the hero, be the ones that are going to push out the vision for the company. And the closeness to the employees was sometimes, it would be facilitated, but most of the times it had to be about the personality of the CEOs. And today they're going to lose a lot with that if they continue the path that they were, just taking on throughout their careers from, like here in the Silicon Valley, where you have all those founders. And what happened was that when I sat down with my team and I sat down with the leadership, we realized that is not going to qualify for 2021 and beyond, because we are going to go hybrid, most of companies. The ones that are going to be, some are going to be 100% remote. So the connecting tissue of success here is leaders knowing how to establish rapport with their employees. Mm-hmm. We have Zoom out, we have Teams out, we have all sorts of these new mechanisms. The thing is so simple that when you talk to an employee, you need to make eye contact. And people think that they should not. You know what? I'm reading something, I'm going to do something. You need to ask, how are you? How COVID has been treating you and your family? How things are going in relation to your life? Because you know what? All of you you're probably having 3-4 jobs. You're a dad, you're a mom, you're a teacher, you are everything to the world, to your family, plus you're an executive on the top of that, right? Mm-hmm. So companies need to, flex themselves.
Add exhaustion to that list. You're exhausted.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I hear you. We all hear you.
Let's call it what it is. We're all exhausted. No one wants to say it, but we're all exhausted.
We are all exhausted. And we have to adapt because we need to be productive. We need to keep going. We need to inspire our family, right? So when I think about leaders, and I think about the leaders today, today, it's so easy, like me as Melissa, as the Chief People Officer for this organization. If there is a job in New York City and it's a company that cares about me, it's, allows me to be my authentic self, allows me to grow, and by the way, allows me to be the passionate person that I am, and the company that I'm working today is not giving me that, I'll take that job right away. The issue now is attrition. That's what I'm saying. Like right now, a lot of companies are going to start paying bonus, and people are going to be like, whoa, am I happy? Am I not happy? Is the company providing what I need to provide? Is my leader understanding and being the bridge for my career development? Because of this hybrid COVID world, my friends, you can be anywhere, you can work anywhere. All the three of you are in different parts of the planet, right? But for the most of the companies that you're dealing in the tech industry, they were not, on that sense. And they were like, people are going to be with us because we pay them well. Let me tell you, money is not everything for a lot of the people today. They want to be passionate about what they do. They want to have development, no matter where they are. They want people that are going to look to their community and see, like, you know what, I'm a human. I'm going to bring, good things to my community. And I want my organization to understand that. And I want my leaders. And that's the magical pill. The leader needs to connect. The leader needs to do an individual plan for their, people that they care about, because it's going to be very easy for everybody to be moving around like crazy when they think normality is back, or when they think, you know what, I can work for any company in the world, like based out of London. They can do better than what I'm doing today. So they need to step up. And how do I come in place? Well, I am the Chief People Officer for this organization. I'm responsible for people. I'm responsible for their development. I'm responsible for the executives. My second and most critical job of any company I worked in my life is to provide the development of the executive, the CEO, to level them, to make them be the person that's going to drive the company to the next level.
So Melissa,
Yeah.
Melissa, these are, I'm sorry to interrupt, just want to keep a conversation, just to recap a little bit. So these are all very good points, and many of us have had conversations around what causes the problems that many organizations face. It's easy to point the fingers at the leaders, but there's also some responsibility with the employees who let the leaders get away with certain behaviors, who stroke their ego constantly by agreeing with everything instead of, speaking up. Now, historically, when you're dealing with megalomaniac leaders, if you do that, you get fired because you're threatening their very well-being and existence when you don't agree with them. But today we're seeing a movement where employees are saying, you know what, we don't want this to be the case. They're rising up and speaking up. And that's affecting change. So how are you guys balancing this act, right? Educating executives about becoming human again in the context of leadership, and also empowering the employees to speak up when things don't look right. So how are you balancing that to create an environment where everyone's taken care of? Just curious to see what's working for you guys.
Well, to start off, we need to, as a leader, right, for any organization, we need to communicate clearly. People sometimes, they just forget that they are so driven by ROI that, you know what, I need to stop, and have my all hands and speak about the problems. People can take tough issues throughout their careers and throughout their lives. And I see a lot throughout my career where, the CEO, the leader, everybody else, they want to look good. And you know what? It's okay to not look good. It's human. Yes, we are in deep S right now, going through this period of time. COVID was, in the beginning of COVID, it was very tough for us. It's like the whole reimagining, how the company is going to be, how business development was going to be. Those guys used to sit down in a bar and do deals in a bar, right? And now you don't have that. So you need to bring yourself. And in terms of employees, when you start establishing trust, because you're saying the truth about how your company is going, what is the plan for tomorrow, how we're going to be doing things for you and for the others, and following up with the things that we keep saying, the employees started reaching out and saying, you know what, I think I can trust you. And that's when the people team comes in hand, right? Because we are the platform for every employee. And if they feel like, oh, I cannot get to this specific, executive, they come through us, and we are going to elevate their voices and bring to the attention to all the leadership and say, listen, this is happening. How about we have a meeting with this, department? They are kind of, they need to be heard. It's really my job is connecting, is elevating. It is making sure that we are being truthful with ourselves and we are creating trust. Because without trust, no employee is going to talk to you because they're going to think you're autocrat and you're going to be pushing down your own stuff.
Melissa, I got a question, and I know it might be evident because it's even on the tagline. But I'm going to put you on the spot right here. If I let's say that I'm a company leader, and if I were to ask you, Melissa, what is the magic to achieve success? How would you sum it up?
Well, I would say the following, right? It's about the people. It's not about your product, buddy. Your product can be amazing, but the genius behind the product, he needs to care about what he's doing for you and for the organization, and feeling that he's successful, that he can do it. So in the end of the day, go back to the basics. It's not about what you produce. It's about what is behind, which is the human. And the human, you need to focus on that. And if you need to be, if you need to go through some polishment as a leader, bring your people team, because they're going to draft plans for you to be successful. So today occurred something very interesting, which was it was the sales kickoff for my organization, virtual across the globe. And there was a CEO award. And I was awarded one of the awards personally. And it was about the fact that COVID, it was flawless. We were able to connect. We were able to engage our employees. We were able to make things real for them. We were there for them. I mean, I'm not a babysitter, okay? I'm very tough. But at the same time, my ears are elephants' ears. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to listen. And that kind of role modeling is going to be passed on to every leader so they can do the same. You don't need to reinvent things in life. You listen, you see what's working, and then start drafting, right? In the end of the day, it's people. And how do you know how to do them?
I can relate to what you're saying, Melissa, and this is, and I think Tulio and Marielle are going to agree with me, is that we belong to an organization in which all of us kind of cringe when we hear the concept of human resources, for example. We always go back to whoever uses such term or expression, and we say, hey, we're not about, I mean, our guys are not resources. They are people. Okay, so in that sense, what would you say to organizations that are, especially in the COVID age, are still a little bit stubborn and calling their teams and their people resources? How do you feel personally about calling team members resources when in reality we are people, right? We're humans. What would you say to them?
Well, so human resources was established to be the foundation to keep the machine going, right? So the payroll, benefits, compensation, making sure the safety is out there, etc. That piece, I call it the machine. The machine has to be there. If the machine is not there, people are going to suffer, right? The elevation is to start being people, the people organization where you're going to look at every single person. Something funny that I see in some leaders sometimes, they talk to people without, asking mentioning their name. Like the individual personalization.
Mm-hmm.
Calling Marielle. Hey, Marielle, let's talk. And I know your name is right there because it's apparent. And people forget to establish the connection, right? So for human resources, right, I use it a lot because sometimes people don't make the connection that, people is human resources. And we're like, yes, it is. It has the foundation, has the mechanics to get things going, to make this company profitable, to pay people, to make commissions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, we are the ones that are going to be developing each individual. We're going to be the ones doing the engagement to know what can we do best. Be humble about, what are the things that are not working. Look at ourselves in the mirror as, people team, as well as the leadership of any organization, and make sure that we're going to act on it and acknowledge, you guys are not happy about this. What can we do? Anything that has to do with, the culture of the organization. How do we want to look like? We're going to bring people that are going to be add in culturally and not be a fit, because we don't want a box with everybody looking like robots. No, I need diversity. I need people that think differently, that come from different countries, that come from, different genders, because otherwise we become boring and lame, and nobody wants to work with us, right? So it is. I would never call anybody, resources.
But it's a context thing, right? And I think it's interesting and correct. Let me know what you think about this. In recent years, at least even from a marketing perspective, what consumers and customers respond well to is things that look personalized, where there's a human element to the communication. In other words, it's not just some big corporate entity pushing the story. There's a person that's being highlighted, that's evangelizing the story, that's humanizing the story. And that is a very effective approach to marketing today. Yet a lot of organizations still struggle with this. They'll write an article about something and fail to talk about and give attribution to the people actually behind that initiative. And it becomes clinical and mechanistic and cold because it's just about the big brand instead of the people that actually made that initiative successful. So just like in real life, right, the words we use creates the reality we experience, right? How we perceive the world is based on how we communicate. So what do companies need to do? It's like a first step. Can they do some basic implementation in just simple things like giving attribution more to people, highlighting people, just what can they do to get in down that path? And why is that important in your opinion?
Every person in the world wants to be recognized. They don't want to be invisible. So let's start with that. I don't want to be a dot, a drop of water in this ocean. I want to be, an island that is beautiful with coconuts. and I need to be recognized for that. So recognition, rewards and recognition, it is a strong asset that, the people team always brings to the table, because it is very important that one individual is going to be called out. So, easy things are, it's all about communication. It's we created a newsletter and we spotlight a lot of people. We create, we have in the beginning of COVID, we had all hands every week. And when there is anything from sales to a development of a product, we call the team out and we say, thank you, you, John, you, Maria, you by name, individualizing, allowing people to go like, what, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't want to go public, etc. So try to respect, that some people they don't want that. Because we are all in technology, right? Engineers, a lot of times they just go like, no, I don't want to be in the front, forefront, but they want to be recognized. So, they might not do a presentation to talk about, technology that they're doing, all hands or for a podcast, but their names are going to be brought up and people know that individual is making a difference. So it is, every company has their own, they have, for instance, we are a private company. We're not public. The resources, are something that we develop every year for, we're proving each other. I've been with the company for 2.5 years. When we started, we had nothing like that, nothing. So I had to prove my credibility by bringing, one program, next program, going to the CEO, saying that this is valuable. And now I receive an award because I cared, because I'm doing my job well, and I'm passionate about my job. So I wish there were people like me in your organization that could sit down and say, how can we plan this better? How can we improve the communication? How can I make you, be the star of the day? And how can I make you that way? What's going to be compatible to you? And then just bring it to like the level of program planning and management and implementing. It's not hard. You just need to be, infused into the conversation with people that actually may have done that in the past, and they're going to bridge you to excellence and success.
Melissa, I have a question. Talking about success, through your experience, what would you say are the key features of a good leader? A leader that can be the catalyst for success in an organization.
Yes, it's when you go to more theory of it, you would say that a democratic leader as well as somebody that's going to be, listening to the employees, but they need to be a visionary. What is a visionary? It's somebody that just go like, you know what? I put in a plan, in a paper. I believe our company is going to be this way. And you, Marielle, are going to help me with this. I made an individual to you, but I also, at the same time, I'm going to say, I'm listening to what you have to say, right? The autocrat that used to be in most companies, right? When I started my career until not long ago, they're not going to have that success. The leader, has to listen, has to take their own time. Why you became a leader? Okay, it's just to push, sales and to push product development? No, you need to inspire others. The only way for you to inspire is connecting, establishing rapport with individuals. Sit down and have one-on-ones. Go to departments and talk to people. Listen to what they have to say. Start telling the truth. People, you need to create credibility. You need to create trust. And when you have all that, people will follow you. When you live. Go on.
Yeah, absolutely. Marielle, you had another question? We could talk for hours about this.
just a small one, a quick one. Well, nowadays, companies are focusing more on the people instead of things such as producing or having a good salary for the employees. Melissa, what do you think this is moving towards the people, and not just like the old?
There are two facets, right? So you have this new generation that they go to school and there's a little bit of entitlement, right? There's a little bit of, I know, and I don't have patience for things. And so, leaders, like, me and others had to figure out that there's a generation thing that changed a lot. And we need to, focus on this new generation that is coming to the workplace that wants different things. As I said, they care about the environment. I mean, I live in California. In California, if I drop, trash somewhere, somebody's going to run after me and tell you, what the hell are you doing, lady? And thank God that is happening, right? Because look at the crazy, fires that we have here in California. But it is personal, right? It is personal. So if I care about my community, if I care about my development, right? I want to bridge, I want to, become a better public speaker. My leader needs to understand that that's one of my goals. So am I having those conversations with my leader, like the one-on-ones? People take everybody for granted, my friends. They take their own employees for granted until the day that they go like, bye-bye, see you later. And then they go like, damn it, what did I do? Well, let's sit down and talk and let's reverse this. Again, products, the genius, Silicon Valley that now is moving to Austin, right? Unfortunately, or fortunately, we have a big center of excellence in Austin. Those folks that are so passionate about what they do, right? They're going to stick around when they care. And of course, money matters. Money is going to still be there. I need to pay fairly with the market. I need to make sure things are going to be okay. But sometimes people want more flexibility. Moms, they want flexibility. They need to take care of the kid. They need to take the shower them, to feed them. I have to cook. Executive right now, I have to cook during lunchtime. I need my time, man. And you need to understand as my boss, I'm going to block my time because I respect myself, and I hope you respect me too. Yeah.
Melissa, it's, everything you're speaking is absolutely the truth. And sadly, what a lot of larger organizations don't realize is that by not involving the people in sharing the authority and actually learning how to build a business, they're hurting themselves, right? That's why people go to startups, because they get to wear multiple hats. They get to experience what it's like to go and build a building or get an office in place or go through the process of getting anything done, building the business, right? You don't get to do that when it's like an assembly line environment, and that's a disadvantage that leaders put their employees through. So what I'm hearing loud and clear is the need to build relationship, communicate, but also share in the growth, share in the authority for that growth so that people get to participate and feel like they're part of it, not just a cog in the wheel. We're up on time, unfortunately. We can talk for another hour, but we'd love to get some last minute wisdom from you that you want to share before we go.
One thing before, in the end of the day, right? We need to listen. We need to be there for employees, etc. But the leadership is going to be the ones that are going to take the decision. And you cannot be like all about, everybody's going to take an opinion and we're going to go multiple directions. No, business don't make money like that. So it's incorporated everything that I shared with you guys, but at the end of the day, make a decision and then sharing back to the team. But it comes from the leaders. You're paid, you're trained, you're educated to do what you're doing. So you better do better, do well, bring growth and development for the organization, and then share that all back to the company.
Right, which is great. And what we've seen ourselves is that the leader is not a fixed person, right? It's not just someone who's gotten that title. We as team can actually create that model and decide that one person maybe could lead because they're willing to serve more. So we're seeing this change where what the younger generation wants to do is participate more actively, not just be told, here's the decision. But I think there's a lot of work to be done before we get to that point. But it's been a pleasure to have you. Just stay with us as we go off the air. Great to have you with us. We could talk for hours on this topic. Carlos, what do we got coming up? Got another show tomorrow, I think. And then what do we got coming up next?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Tulio, we have tomorrow. We're going to be speaking with Beth Porter, the CEO of Riff Analytics. The topic is going to be real-time diagnostic feedback in virtual meetings promotes healthy collaboration. So that kind of ties into some things that were mentioned in this conversation with Melissa, but the focus is going to be more AI oriented because we're going to be speaking about using AI to promote how cross-functional teams communicate. That's what we have for tomorrow right here on DojoLIVE at 12 noon Pacific, as ever. And of course, Monday, we have the recap show.
Absolutely. So come back tomorrow at noon and we'll announce the lineup for next week. Thanks for being with us. Stay safe.
Stay safe.